poppin' beautiful people? Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. I am very excited because we are here to do our final review for Raising Kanan, the series finale. It did air season 5, episode 8, appropriately titled Unconditional Love. Let me know, everybody, how you felt about the series finale. We will not get another season of Raising Kanan. It does look like they're going to continue some of Kanan's journey, obviously, in the Power Book Origins, which is going to be centered around Ghost, Tommy. Then when they're young, we should see Kanan in there. They kind of introduced him. But I am excited because there's a whole nother world for Power Book that's about to be born. I know Tariq and Tommy, who are both on Power Book, we're going to continue Force's story and Tariq's story because they're also going to get their show. And then we have Origins and 56 got Fightland. So obviously, he said one door is closing, but another is opening. But I do hope you guys consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. You can also hype the video, whether you like hype, don't subscribe, do subscribe. I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this review, and you still matter. But let's get into this episode because it was very good for a series finale. I mean, of course, there were some things that I wish did not happen, but then at the same time, I'm pretty satisfied overall. I want to be respectful to those who have not watched the episode yet and don't want to get spoilers. Like, from this point in the video, if you have not watched, I would just keep it moving because it's going to be very hard to avoid not spoiling things for y'all. But we're going to start with Juke. She is aware that her daddy is gone. Marvin has been unfortunately unalived, and Juke is aware of it, and we see that the pastor was able to get that document to Juke. I was very happy to see that because my husband made a good point. It's like, can we really trust the pastors in the church all the time? I mean, are they still going to preach if we don't bring our collections? I'm just saying. Just a thought. But it was sad to see Juke in tears. I really feel like of everybody's character, Juke's character was the one that got changed against her will, went through stuff she didn't want to go through. She lost her mama, she lost her daddy, she lost her friend, she couldn't keep her girlfriend, she lost the closeness she had with her cousin, she lost Famous. Juke has been through some things in Raising Kanan. And now she has found out that her father is gone as well. And we know that she's going to get to the bottom of why, the who, what, when, where, why, and how of it all. And I'm here for it. If somebody did that to my daddy, I'm finding out exactly who you are and taking it to HE double hockey sticks. You better believe it. Now, in another scene, we see that Jarita is telling Kanan that she may be pregnant. For those who are unfamiliar or may have forgotten, Jarita, she was Tiana at first. Her real name is Jarita. Jarita, if you go watch Power Book, the original series, when we meet Kanan, that was the mother of Sean, who was Kanan's son. So it looks like she found out she's pregnant, and she's telling Kanan, and his initial reaction is, well, is it mine? Because y'all know she a 304. So of course they have to ask if the baby is Kanan's, because he found her when she was, you know, for cash. So one will wonder. Jarita gets offended, and I never understand why 304s get offended when the men that they're dating outside of their work ask them, like, are you sure it's mine? Hello? You're sharing your hot pocket around everywhere for cash. They don't know if you're using protection. They don't know how accurate the protection that you're using is. So normally I'd be like, Kanan's an a-hole for that, but I mean, he slept with a 304. But that's just another thing that is dropped on him. I wish they would have addressed that a little bit more throughout the episode, but maybe we'll get to see more about Jarita as we watch Kanan and other Power Book spinoff shows that are going to be coming. Now, Breeze pulls up on the Melanin Redacted gentleman who he learned from Snaps and Pops snitched on him as Snaps and Pops were firing him. He's like, okay, they snitched on me because they were talking to the feds. So Breeze pulled up and popped them. They are now unalived. I don't think that's smart because it's going to track back to the streets somehow. But I mean, I guess Breeze probably had the idea, maybe if I popped him, I could get my job back. But I don't blame him. You're talking to the feds. I can't deal with you. You gotta go. Rules of the streets. Can't get mad at that. Now, Rock goes by to meet Pino Bernardi, who she was working for with Flossie and them in Manhattan. And Bernardi offers condolences to Rock related to her brother passing away. I'm assuming they're aware that Marvin is no longer living. And Rock tries to say that she's been in worse spots and she's still trying to get her job back, get some type of representation. Bernardi says to her, oh, been in worse spots than your brother unaliving, or than your son unaliving your brother? And she was like, where did you hear that at? Because at this point, it looks like she was not aware that Kanan was the person who took care of Marvin. And honestly, Kanan taking care of Marvin, that was some sucker stuff. Like, did you do that because Marvin whooped on you? Because still, like, Kanan has learned that Marvin and Rock had nothing to do with Famous's being unalived. Like, so he really don't have a reason to be mad at them no more for real like that. But his ego's in the way. So to me, there was no reason for him to unalive Marvin. R.I.P. to Marvin, man. R.I.P. to Marvin. How y'all gonna show us Snaps and Pops Homecoming but not show us Marvin's? Even though, granted, the family's not in a situation to do something, but I thought that was crazy. But Rock later sits there and is surprised, still trying to work with Pino. And Pino tells her this story about how he and Stefano grew up together. Stefano was in the sports. He was more of a guy that was good with the ladies. And it sounds like he took a girl that Bernardi wanted. Now, he asked Rock, he said, we don't have no business after telling the story, but I know that Stefano wanted you, and I will protect your life if you sleep with me. Now, it makes sense. It does make sense for them to go in that direction, because let's call a spade a spade. Rock is a bad, in the words of Mama D, BICTH. Okay, y'all know I can't really curse like that until I'm past a certain level in the video, so that is why I'm speaking that way. But Rock looked good, so I am surprised that this far in her career, aside from Unique, there should be more men that are interested in her. And we know the melanin redacted men love them some chocolate, because as they say, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I'm just saying. So Rock looks offended as she walks out of there, and Bernardi's kind of like, you won't be alive in a week. Like, everyone keeps telling Rock, like, your time is up. But I was personally proud of Rock, because I feel like part of being a woman in general, nobody's ever going to respect you if you move up and get what you got from your looks or using what that mouth do or anything else. Nobody's going to respect you for that, especially as a Black woman. So I respected Rock, because a lot of women would have just said, whatever I got to do to live. Oh, well. But she still walked out of there like, I'm not sleeping with you, Skeletor. Absolutely not. So I was here for that. Now, Jukebox ends up meeting up with Flossie, because the letter that Marvin left her, he told Juke that Flossie was one of the few people that she could trust. And Flossie was surprised to learn this, but Flossie explained that Kanan came by to see her, pulled a gun on her, and Juke connects the dots and pretty much asks if Kanan was the one who put her father down. And it looks like she's figuring out, because Flossie was like, that's what's been going around. And it looks like Juke is wanting to get to the bottom of it. But I think she knows in her heart of hearts, like after learning what Kanan did to Lou, what he's tried to do to Rock, and now there's rumors that he did to her dad. Like, we know that Juke is not stupid. We know that Juke is not stupid. We just know she's not stupid. Now, while this is happening, Kanan learns that Snaps and Pops are no longer alive. And, you know, Kanan, for the first time, showed care for Rock. He's talking to Breeze, and I like Breeze's character, because Breeze is really trying to be a brother to Kanan. And Breeze said to Kanan, and was kind of trying to get him to, like, hint, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, that's your mama. At the end of the day, that's your mama. And Kanan was kind of like, well, is there any way we could save her and just, like, let her walk? And Breeze is explaining, like, no, Stefano wants Rock's life, and that's just what it is. But the scene was important to discuss, because this is where we start to see Kanan show some type of care for his mother. He's not all the way gone yet. But by the end of this episode, I can understand why he went the direction that he went. Okay? I can definitely understand it. Now, Jukebox meets with Detective Garcia, because Detective Garcia is aware that Snaps and Pops are not alive. And Detective Garcia knows that he gave the information to Jukebox that Snaps and Pops were the ones that took care of Famous, in terms of making sure that Famous was not living any longer. So Detective Garcia, it seems like he was low-key concerned about Juke and telling her not to do something she's going to regret. But we know that Juke is going to do what she does. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I can't blame her. I can't blame Jukebox. I really cannot. They have done every single thing they can to take away any shred of like a normal life without stress. Everybody she loves is gone, or to have screwed her over, like her mama and Kanan. So I'm not mad at Juke for whatever she does. Now we know how she ended up in the later seasons of Power, but I'm not mad at Juke for her behavior at all. Not even a little bit. Now we have to, for some reason, see Snaps and Pop's funeral, which I didn't quite understand. But we also get to see that Rock met with the feds. And when she met with the feds, she essentially finally agreed to snitch. She says that she will tell on Pino Bernardi as well as Stefano, as long as she is issued full immunity, not just for herself, but also for Kanan. And I'm thinking, hell no, why are we helping this young man? Kanan is on my list. He is literally on my list. Cannot stand him. But I get it. That's her son. And maybe she's thinking this is a last-ditch effort so that she has somebody in her life because her brothers are gone. Her mother is gone. She don't have no friends. She's nobody. So in some ways, I can understand why she would be willing to do that. Now, at Snaps and Pop's funeral, Stefano is there, and Pino Bernardi pops up and essentially tells Stefano that he has the okay and the go-ahead to unalive Rock. Now, I think it's crazy that you went and told this man, like, hey, you have permission to do what you've already been doing, but it is what it is. Now, the feds go by to talk to Kanan, and they let Kanan know your mother is, we've offered her full immunity, and she will not take the deal unless you take it also. Kanan's like, I ain't no snitch, I'm not dealing with y'all, and put them out of his apartment, which is crazy. But something they did mention, and it shows how Kanan lacked intelligence. They were talking and mentioning the melanin redacted gentleman that Bree's unalive. And Kanan was like, I don't know nothing about no white boys. And the detective looked at him and said, or the AUSA guy for the feds looked at him and said, well, who said they were white? Kanan, you better figure that out and start listening to people, because maybe with what happened in this finale and how things ended up with Rock, like maybe Kanan will start to value the opinions of others instead of just being quick and assuming that he knows everything. Like one would hope. One would hope, y'all. One would hope. Now, Rock does try to go to Flossie as a last-ditch effort for help, but Flossie told Rock that she's tragic. And I agree. She kind of read Rock for filth, but she's true. Rock didn't accept defeat when needed, and I think if she would have took the suggestions and advice from Lou when he was living, as well as Marvin, maybe they'd all be living and just out the game and letting Kanan be up in it. Like, who knows? Anything could have happened. Now, Rock learns that Kanan is not going to snitch, and when she learns that he's not going to snitch, she says she can't go out like that and F the FBI. She ain't no snitch. And I was happy they did that, because I was like, please don't make her character a snitch when she was really about it, like for all 5 seasons. She did some stuff that I didn't always agree with, but for the most part, Rock gave somebody who not gonna snitch. So I definitely was glad that she said F the FBI. And we get to see a little scene of Tommy and Ghost, aka Jamie. May we never say Jamie the way Angela Valdez did. Ew. And I just thought, you guys, you know how important Angela was to Ghost when he was younger, from how they used to talk. So I'm like, what if in Power Book Origins we have to deal with Angela? Because Tasha doesn't really come around, I don't think, until a little later. So I'm kind of like, oh, are we going to have to do... She used to irritate me. AUSA Angela Valdez. I don't know why. She used to really get on my nerves. Shout out to the lady who played Angela Valdez, because, girl, you made my teeth itch just like Drew Sidora in the game. And that's a compliment to your acting, so I will leave it there. But, oh, Lord help us. After she says F the FBI, Kanan is seen telling people, you know, what he needs to do, because he's running a whole operation at this point. And one of his people is like, we got some young dudes here who want some work. It is Jamie and Tommy, aka Tommy and Ghost. And that's how much of a beast Tommy is. Tommy said, I don't need a nickname. Okay, I'm going to go by Tommy from the moment I was a little tyke to when I'm in Chicago giving them hell. Tommy said, I'm going to do what I want. I'm a gangster and I'm a real thug. Okay, he has something to prove. But I didn't realize in this scene, I did not realize that Tommy and Ghost were younger than Kanan. I didn't realize that when I was watching Power in the first season. Maybe it's just me, y'all. Maybe it's just me. But I didn't realize that. But I love that they included them and like kind of how they were first introduced in this, because it's going to be pivotal probably for Origins. And I think it's interesting that Kanan's a little older than them, unless they're just small and malnourished. But I think that's an interesting dynamic, and I look forward to it. And yes, I will be covering the Origins Power once it's back. I will be covering it. Later on, we see that Kanan goes to meet with Stefano, and he asks for a way that he can save Rock. And Stefano says that there is something that Rock could do for him. I was like, it better not be he's pulling the same stuff that Pino Bernardi is pulling. But I love that Stefano was willing to actually find a way to save Rock. And when Kanan is leaving Stefano from that meeting, asking to help his mama, which is the only good thing he's done in 5 seasons, we see that Juke is following him. She's following his every move. See, Juke is a silent assassin, okay? Juke is going to follow you around and make sure that you are behaving like so. Like, this is what a good person does. You study your enemy before you pounce. To just move off emotion is never smart. And it's never really worked out unless you're just trying to save somebody from, like, I don't know, drowning or something. Like, other than that, it's not going to work. But Juke is following him. So Jukebox follows Kanan to a neighborhood in New York that's very busy, and he meets up with Rock. It was smart of Rock to meet in that neighborhood because can't nothing happen to her, and she still don't really trust her child. Now, Kanan apologizes to Rock, and this was so pivotal because he owes her so much more than an apology, but he apologized to Rock. And he admitted that he does not want his mother to go away. He doesn't want his mother to pass away. Regardless of what we go through in our childhoods, how bad life is, whether you got a childhood like Kanan or a mama that was just verbally abusive, like, that's still the person that kept you alive enough so you could get the hell away from them, okay? So you still have that care unless you're just an entire, like, I don't even know, I want to say psychopath. Like, you should still have that care. You should still have that care. But, you know, Kanan is displaying that. And Rock has a moment where she got real and raw with Kanan and probably had a conversation with him that she should have had with him some time ago. She explains to Kanan that she blames herself for everything that happened. She blames herself to a certain extent for everything that happened with her brothers, Juke, the streets, how he changed. And she acknowledges that it was her that put him in the game and she should have made better choices. And then she also, after being accountable and giving him his apology, she looked at him and said, you got to understand, you took my brothers from me and I can never forgive you for that. Which is real. She don't have no family. And everything she did was to protect you, just for you to take away the family. Because you wanted to be an adult when the words of Jukebox were correct. The only reason you went hard as a gangster is because you were mad at your mommy. And that's bitch-like behavior. No matter which way you put it, male, female, gay, straight, I don't care. That's bitch-like behavior. That you threw a fit so big on your mommy that innocent people lost their lives. Your best friend lost his life. A lot happened. So I just kind of feel like I respected Rock for telling him, pretty much she loved him, but she'll never forgive him for that. And she gives him a hug, and you could tell that Kanan needed that hug. We all need a hug from our mama sometimes. And Kanan tells his mom, talk to Stefano. And he does that. But Juke was lurking and watched the whole interaction. And I started to, at this point, when Kanan hugged Rock, if y'all look at Juke's face when they pan to her across the way watching them, that's when I knew what was going to happen with Rock and who was going to get her. And I figured that out because there was no reason for Marvin to pass away. Kanan did not have to do that. And everyone's like, how is Juke cool with him after that? We about to find out. We are about to find out, y'all. Now, Breeze meets with Stefano, and Rock is there as well. It comes in, and she talks to him, and pretty much she is offered a way to live. Rock is essentially offered, it seems like, to off Bernardi as a way to stay alive, and Stefano will leave her alone. But he made it very clear that she's going to have to leave New York City because that's the mob coming after you, and that's going to be a struggle. So she's going to have to leave New York City. And it looks like she's going to agree to this because it's a way for her to be out, live, but also at the same time, it's a way for her to not snitch. And at first I was like, okay, this is cool, but it's too easy. Now, after leaving Stefano's, before she goes to do what she has to do at Bernardi's, she stops by Juke's house and Marvin's house because she wants to make the attempt to talk to Juke. But of course, Juke is not there because she's been following Kanan and her. Now, she does off Bernardi with no problem. I was grossed out that he really thought Rock would sleep with him just to get free. Like, no, I need you to protect me first. Like, and then maybe. But I'm not going to sleep with you first before seeing any proof that you'll do what you say. You could, because Bernardi could have hit it. He could have fucked her and then been like, I changed my mind. Like, so he couldn't have thought that she was really going to come to him. That was Bernardi. That's what they say. The weakness in every man ends up being some pussy. I see why they say it, because Bernardi just did not think. Now, Rock goes home and she's packing and getting ready to leave New York. And Jukebox walks in. And she's confused, like, what are you doing? Because Jukebox walks in and aims the gun at her. And Rock is like, wait, I didn't take Marvin's life. Rock also explained, I didn't unalive Lou either. I would never hurt family. And it was sad because Jukebox and Rock had that feminine relationship that was really important for Juke. And I think that Juke also kept Rock a little softer. If you go back and watch earlier seasons, she was very sweet to her niece. They had a good relationship. Jukebox, the young lady who played her, number one, she's a baddie. Hello, and talented. But secondly, her acting and Rock's acting was top tier in this scene. Because you could see that Juke did not want to hurt her auntie. But she had to hurt her auntie because her thirst for revenge and her love for her daddy outweighed anything that had to do with her auntie. This was get back for Kanan, and she explained that to Rock. She was like, I know you didn't do this, but I got to do this because it was Kanan. And Rock did try to get to a gun, but she wasn't fast enough. We know Juke went to the army and is trained with these weapons. And Juke unalived Rock. It was Juke who did it. I am kind of confused because if you go back and watch Power Book, they did mention at one moment, like, oh, Kanan visited his mom or something. But maybe he visited her grave. Who knows? But the reason his mom passed, the reason Rock lived for Juke to get to her is because Kanan worked to keep her alive. But if Kanan would have cooperated and snitched with his mama, they could have been gone before Juke could even get to them. So it's one of those things where no matter which way you paint it, Kanan's actions came back and bit him in the rear end. And it couldn't just be good enough like that, because of course we see our girl Jukebox go to that diner she always met with Kanan in. And she let him know, you took my daddy from me, so I took your mama from you. And you could go by and look at it if you don't believe me. And she told him, before you get angry, this is on you. She wanted him to suffer and feel the pain that she felt with her dad being gone. And she said that she'd been following them, and when she saw them hug, that was the scene and the moment that she knew she was not going to get Kanan. She had to get her auntie. Which is unfortunate, but it does make sense and it was appropriate. And the show pretty much ends with Kanan and Juke looking like enemies because she's enjoying him suffering. And the show pretty much ended with us seeing 1975 when Kanan was born, with Marvin, with Jukebox in the stroller, and little Lulu. It was sad to see what happened with this family. But I think what Marvin said in the episode that he passed away was the most vital thing. Let it be a lesson. Don't get greedy with your money. Don't get greedy with what you do. Because sometimes the thrill and the chase for money is the very thing that's destroying the things that are not of value, that matter to us, such as our family and those in our lives we care for. But it was an unfortunate ending, but I am curious to see what happens with Kanan and other Power Book shows. I do have a poll up in the channel. I'm going to make a decision by Monday, August the 10th. If you guys want me to cover Fightland on STARZ, which is also a 50-cent show, let me know. There's a poll on my channel in the post tab. I do appreciate everybody for watching these reviews. I love Raising Kanan. I am glad to have gotten to cover some of it. Let me know how you guys feel about the finale. I'm going to let y'all know off rip. The fact that Stefano lived, maybe he'll come back in some way. But I wish I wish Marvin would have lived. I wish Lou would have lived. I'm tired of STARZ and 50 Cent, because it wasn't just 50 Cent this time. The actor who played Lou had spoke out a little bit saying he had a problem with the network and the creators of the show. Listen, stop unaliving people off the show. Say they went on the run or went on vacation or left everybody. You don't always just have to unalive their characters, because what if y'all get cool in some years or something, you know? But I enjoyed Raising Kanan. Great show. I appreciate those who supported the reviews. Let me know how you guys felt in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.